to make so early in the broadcast? Wow. What was I thinking, guys? I know what I was thinking. I'll tell you guys in a minute, but good afternoon to you guys. Let's try this again. Good afternoon to you, St. Lucia. Welcome to another edition of Hard Talk here on Fire 107.7 FM. I am your host, Angie, and today is Monday, June 15th, 2026, not April. Where did April come from? I have no idea. Oh my goodness, guys. But so today is a fresh new start. I want to apologize to my loyal listeners for not bringing you the broadcast on Friday. It's not that I abandoned you guys. Let me explain. We had some technical issues at the studio from the day before, and you guys know me. I always try to work things out, and I was able to do a workaround. But on Friday, I just couldn't get it to work. Thursday, MacGyver was alive and kicking in my head, but Friday, I couldn't get it to work. So I decided that I was going to just take a step back and allowed allow Friday to go and just rethink it over the weekend, which is exactly what I did. And now we are back and up and running. So please forgive me, guys. I apologize for my absence, but that doesn't mean that I am not going to be here for you guys as much as I can. It's a work in progress, guys. You know, we are going through the labor pains. I think that's what I want to call it. Labor pains and other kinds of pains. And we're trying our best to make sure that everything is sorted out. But of course, this is a small operation, and we have to do things bit by bit. And guys, you know, as much as I get to fall short. So thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting me. And Fire FM, thank you guys for always standing by us through a thick and thin. I don't know what we would do without our loyal listeners in this platform, guys. Trust me, you guys are so amazing. You guys always make it worthwhile. And you just make me want to go the extra mile to ensure that I don't leave you guys stranded. So, just like the song, you are my inspiration. And I thank you for that. So, today is Monday. And you know what happens on Mondays, don't you? Somebody says, good afternoon. Sometimes you have to give the brain a rest so that it can function well. That is so true. That is so true. If you're doing something and it is beating you, it's better that you take a step back and allow the brain to reset and come back to it later in the day. And I got it. This is what I did. So, guys, let me tell you something. You're not going to believe this, but the brain fog is real. I didn't take my glasses. Oh my God. I hope I'm not going to read. I'm reading stuff. Okay, so back to today. Once again, let me wish all of my listeners, those of you joining us on the Fire FM link, which was down, and I had to MacGyver it. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Those of you on the radio, good afternoon to you as well. And those of you, oh, you guys are so amazing. Those of you on the Facebook platform, good afternoon. Guys, listen to this message. Somebody says, hello, Angie, how are you? Strength and courage to you. Keep up the good work of deep analysis of issues. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am so happy that there are people out there who recognize the work that I do and who understand it for what it is, not politics. Although a lot of the issues are political, but it's not politics, guys, when you just want your country to move forward. We each have a right to ask these questions. The questions that I ask, they're not far-fetched. They're not over the top. They're not above and beyond. Because you remember your grandmother used to say, well, my grandmother used to say, I can't remember it in Creole right now. She used to say it in Creole, but in English it translates to the height of disrespect. They're not the height of disrespect. All I want is for my country, my home, to be the best place to live and work in St. Lucia. In fact, no, let me rephrase that. I want my country, my home, to be the best place to live and work in the region and by extension in the world. And nobody can fault me for wanting that. Nobody can take this away from me. I deserve it, guys, and so do you. I was reminded over the weekend of how many talented individuals we have. Those from my generation, those from the generation before, who live and work in other countries and who are making a real difference. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh my God. We need these people. We need these people at home. We need these people to come home, the country benefit from their experience and talent and expertise. But we cannot expect these people, these individuals who work hard, to come home and put themselves personally at a disadvantage. Which is why I will continue to advocate for better healthcare, better infrastructure, better education for our children, better housing, better a lower cost of living, and so on and so forth, because this is what we need. These individuals who are out there making a difference in other countries, we need their talent and their expertise. And guys, let me tell you something. Last week I made a statement on the show, and I don't think many of you understood how deep this went. St. Lucia, I want you to look around your communities. I want you to look around your home. I want you to look at the city. Tell me what you notice. Tell me what you see. Because I was in the city on Saturday, And I need to tell you guys what I see. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Somebody on here is saying, please let me know when you're not on air because you had me thinking that my internet was not working. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry, guys. I normally do, but I'm going to be honest. I was frustrated trying to get this link to work. And so I just ran out. I needed a break and I just ran out. So please forgive me, guys. Sometimes you're trying to do something and you just have to leave it alone. Otherwise you start behaving in crazy ways. So, okay. Let me explain to you my experience. On Saturday, like many St. Lucians, I decided to take a day and do some shopping, pay some bills, and to get things done. But when I got to Castries, even before I left, even before I got to Castries, there is a community. There are, little communities in my constituency. And the boss decided to drive into one of those little offshoot communities to to drop off a passenger. Guys, what I saw was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag yet. Because I'm going to make a special appeal to the parliamentary rep. Because if we allow these parliamentary reps to get away with treating us with neglect and disrespect, it is never going to stop. This is what the topic for today. The state of the country. In the US, they always have the State of the Union address. Well, this today is my State of the Country address. Oh, I see one of my good friends on here, Stephanie Japierre. Good afternoon to you, Stephanie. Stephanie and I go way back. Guys, normally, people decide, you know what? We're not going to change an administration because we want the work to continue. We want continuity. We want stability. So we're not going to vote against the sitting government. And that's fine. That is fine. A lot of people, they don't go in for the politics. They don't go in for the politics. They think about this logically. They tell you, you know what? I want things to continue. And you know what? We want progress. This project was started. This project, I believe, is a good thing for the country. Sometimes if we change the government, the new administration might not want to continue the project. So let's keep the one we have and allow them to finish the work. Do you recall in Kenny Anthony's final term, there was this song going around, give the man a chance to do the work. So a lot of people think in that way. But this is not the case. We just had a general election on the 1st of December, and the administration did not change. In fact, the administration gained one more foothold in the politics of this country. This puts the current administration in a very strong position of continuity. They had the plans, they had the budget. They said, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierce said, that while the UWP is the administration that makes the plans, his is the administration of action. And so, when St. Lucians went to the polls on December 1st, 2025, they voted for action. This is what I have to assume. But when I look around St. Lucia, what I see is not action. And I'm going to make it my duty to highlight it. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it, because sometimes somebody tells you something. Somebody tells you, look on that chair, on that shelf there, you're going to see a red bottle with a green cover. I need you to make sure that it is covered, it is secured. And you will be looking above the shelf, on the side of the shelf, underneath the shelf, and it will take the person to come and say, but look the bottle in front of you, because you might not see it. But I am going to show it. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to make it my duty to remind the politicians, the MPs, the ministers of government, that they made promises to the people. And they were in the perfect position to deliver on those promises. Before the election, the parliamentary representative for Castries Southeast, as a candidate then, made a big show of patching up a road in a certain community. A big show, guys. There were photos on Facebook. There were interviews from people. And she posted it and said, while they are talking, I am working. So, Madam Minister, because we're not talking, you ain't working anymore. Madam Minister, you could have only gotten things done while you were a candidate. Now that we have given you the mandate you asked for, you have disappeared. Because I asked the people, have you seen her in this area after the election? And the answer, I'll let you guys guess. I'll leave it up to speculation. And I don't want to preempt what I'm about to do, because I'm going to give St. Lucians the opportunity to ask these ministers in these constituencies. Jackson song, what about us? Yeah, what about us? Are we no longer needed? 6 months, guys. 6 months since the general election. And we are already suffering. Let's talk about the latter part of the journey. So that was Castries Southeast. That was my constituency. And while driving through the constituency, I took the time. I looked around. I surveyed the place. I said, oh my God. Sail it, Anusa. But there will be further updates. There will be further updates. And you know what? I was not even surprised, to be honest. I was not even surprised with what I saw. It didn't shock me, guys. It did not shock me. I'll tell you why. You get the government you vote for. Correction. You get the government the majority votes for. So, imagine I'm driving through the constituency heading to town. I'm looking at I don't even want to describe it on here because there'll be further developments. But I just want to ask the parliamentary representative for Castries Southeast. You said that while they are talking, as a candidate, you are working. I want to ask you, Madam Minister, since when no, that phrase I was going to use might not be appropriate for radio. The filter between my brain and my mouth works well, guys. Let me tell you, that thing have brakes like a brand new Mercedes Benz. If I'm about to say something that I probably shouldn't say, the brakes on that, let me tell you, there's a whole ABS system between my brain and my mouth. Thank God for that. Let me just pump the brakes a little bit. And rephrase. Yes, Madam Minister, can you only work while you are a candidate? Or is it because you believe we have stopped talking? Is that why you stopped working? But we will come back to you, because we will show you that the people of Castries Southeast, we're not used to that. Don't try to put us in that situation. We are not used to that. So, straighten up and fly right. Because we will remind you, Madam Minister, before the election you went house to house. In that very same community, that part of the constituency, you went house. You spoke to everyone. Friend, foe, familiar, stranger, everyone. Nobody was too low for you to speak to them. Your boots were on the ground. And you were everywhere. Here, there, and everywhere. Telling people that the current rep, your colleague, was neglecting the constituency, and that, in your view, was unconscionable. That's what you said. You said, if given the opportunity, you will give us better representation. Madam Minister, mwepaka we better, because in this marriage, you heard a vow say for better or for worse. Sell Samaka where say worse. Madam Minister, I, Angie, will remind you of everything you said to the people, of every promise you made, of every vow. And I demand, yes, I use the word demand. Let me tell you why I can demand. I am entitled to demand that you make good on every promise, every vow, every policy, because you are the parliamentary rep. You asked us to give you a chance, and we did. You asked us to give you the stewardship of our constituency. You told us better representation. You didn't tell us. You never promised us a building. You promised us a hospital. I'm kidding. She never promised us a hospital, but I'm just making a reference. You promised us. And you put up signs, Madam Minister. You put up signs. Coming soon. Coming soon. It's been 6 months. Soon po wive? It's been 6 months. Soon po ko wive? But we will have that conversation. We will come back to that one. So, leaving Castries Southeast, you pass through Castries South. And we'll come for Castries South later. Because while I live now in Castries Southeast, I was born in Castries South. So we'll come back for Castries South later, but I got to Castries. Now, it doesn't matter sure. Is there an issue with the volume? Somebody let me know. Okay, let's get back. I got to the city of Castries on Saturday. St. Lucia, it doesn't matter where you're from. You could be from Grosley. You could be from Babuno. You could be from Castries. We're talking about constituencies here. You could be from Castries North, Castries South, Castries East. I don't know if we have Castries West, but we have Castries South East. We have Dennery North. We have Dennery South. We have Ancillary Canneries. We have Soufre Force Jacques. We have Chousel. We have Vieux-Fort North, Vieux-Fort South. Doesn't matter which constituency you hail from. You could be from Castries West. The city of Castries, the capital city, belongs to us all. Every single St. Lucian. I'm not sure about the CIP ones. I count in the CIP ones. But I'm talking about the born here St. Lucians. I can't count the CIP ones, guys. I don't know how many there are. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they know where St. Lucia is on the map. So the jury is still out on the CIP St. Lucians. But the ones who were born here, the ones who have St. Lucian blood flowing through their veins, Castries belongs to each and every one of us. Never in my life, never in my life have I seen such neglect in the city of Castries. I don't understand it. I don't understand what is going on in St. Lucia. And I need help to figure it out. And for this one, I need the mayor of Castries. Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor, I need you. Guys, let me tell you what I witnessed. First things first, I've spoken about the lack of economic activity happening in the city. There are vendors on the streets. There were vendors there. There were vendors in the boulevard. There were vendors, that's the William Peter Boulevard. We had vendors on Jeremy Street. We have the bars open in the Jeremy Street Plaza and under the CDC. We have the street vendors, everything. But you know what we didn't have, guys? People, customers, people buying, people selling, people shopping. I didn't see the numbers, the people milling about that I'm used to seeing in Castries on a Saturday. I normally avoid Castries like the plague on a Friday afternoon and a Saturday. You know why? Twop Munaville Castries. But I was able to walk freely through the city. Because while the opportunity for commerce, and when I say opportunity for commerce, I mean the vendors, the shops, the wares out on display. I didn't see the customers. I didn't see the people. Now, I had to go to the north of the island to complete my transactions. And I got up to Rodney Bay. Very light traffic. Thank God. And when I got back to Castries, on my way back home, I looked at the city and I couldn't believe my eyes. Firstly, I went to the market on Jeremy Street because you cannot cook your food properly if you don't have your tiloyo and your godite and your tidite and your seasoning pepper and your rosemary and your thyme and your celery and your parsley. You need to have the seasoning so the food can have taste. So your girl went to get some seasoning because I have to flavor the pot. Guys, I got to the market and I don't like to spend all the money in one place because all the vendors are there. So you buy that from this one, you buy this from that one, you buy that. Guys, I spoke to this vendor who said to me, sometimes she stays there the entire day and doesn't even make $30. Could you imagine? She said she stays the entire day and doesn't even make $30. And immediately, my mind went back to something I heard in the House of Parliament. Now, you all will tell me who said it, because you all listen. I heard one of the senators say that you cannot find things by the market because they're all sold out. because that senator was trying to say that the economy was going well. But this vendor said to me, and let me tell you, she's supporting the party, you know. She's supporting the party. She protecting the victory. She said to me, sometimes, listen to this. Listen to this. Sometimes she stays there. She doesn't even make $30. And that is why the Prime Minister is saying to people, plant your kitchen garden. Could you imagine? She is a vendor. She is a vendor selling by the market. Not even realizing that if everybody plants their kitchen garden, nobody's going to be buying from her anymore. Could you imagine that? So she's telling me the things are not selling, which is why they're saying to you, plant your kitchen garden. I didn't say anything. I bought my goods and I left. But while walking to my bus stop, I made some observations. And I want you guys to go and check it, you know. And this is where I need the mayor to come in. St. Lucia, we are in the hurricane season. It is the 15th of June, 2026. I need the mayor of Castries to explain why the storm drains in the city are clogged with leaves, with plastic cups, with plastic bottles, and so on and so forth. Because that's what I noticed. I noticed it in the boulevard, and I noticed it on Jeremy Street. Why are the storm drains in the city clogged? Isn't it common knowledge that Castries, in times of high tide, the water, the sea, I'm talking about the sea, rises up, and in some parts of the city, the water ends up on the roads, on the highways and byways of the city? So when all of this debris is clogging the drains, Madam Mayor, and we're about to step into full-fledged hurricane season, what's going to happen? What is going to happen? Will the waters that come with a hurricane or a trough or a tropical storm, will they be able to drain out of the city? Because we all know that it doesn't take heavy rainfall to flood Castries. When the tides are high, The water comes up and the roads get flooded. That's why sometimes you're walking through certain parts of Castries, and one area was famous for it. That area, that the Dennery Valley bus stop, right across from Massey, what's it called? Massey City Store. Also, that street next to the House of Parliament, the street that passes in front of the House of Parliament, is another area that is famous for it, and parts of Jeremy Street. So we know it doesn't take heavy rainfall, hurricane, and all of that for Castries to flood. All it takes is high tide. Why are the storm drains, Madam Mayor, clogged? Shouldn't the Castries City Council employees be out there ensuring that those drains, especially in this season, and I'm talking about the hurricane season, shouldn't they be clean and clear of all debris so that they can enable water to flood, to drain out of the city in times of high tide, in times of heavy rainfall, and so on and so forth? Isn't that the ideal way? That's one. The next thing I noticed, Madam Mayor, maybe you have not been walking around the city and you didn't notice, but Saturday afternoon, Madam Mayor, the city, guys, this is so sad. Would you believe, St. Lucia, that I was walking on Bridge Street? Sorry, I said Jeremy Street, but what I meant to say was Bridge Street. The parts where you get flooding every once in a while when there's high tide, it's Bridge Street. Not so much Jeremy Street. I meant Bridge Street. So I was walking along Bridge Street. And imagine my surprise and chagrin to see rubbish, pieces of cardboard, leaves, pieces of plastic, pieces of paper, bottles in the drains. Bridge Street. I am walking and the wind is blowing strong, and a piece of paper passed me. A piece of plastic followed. And I'm looking up and down the street and I'm wondering where I am. Rubbish, debris, garbage, Zordi, Koshoni, whatever you want to call it. It was all on the streets of Castries. Why is that, Madam Mayor? And I made the observation to a lady who was selling, a vendor, because I stopped to get something. And I said, but look at that. Why is the city so dirty? And I made the comparison. I said, normally on Carnival Monday, and guys, according to the people, hot Saturday team see hotly, because all of you know what I'm talking about. Normally, before Carnival Monday, there's always a Juve jump up in Castries. And after that Juve jump up, Carnival Monday kicks off. Guys, I'm not sure how it is coordinated. But if Carnival stops at 10 o'clock on Carnival Monday, by 10:02, the street sweepers are at work. The street sweepers are on the job. Carnival Tuesday, when you get to the city, you have to ask yourself, wait a minute, wasn't I jumping on that street yesterday? They don't have carnival again. Because the city is so clean. It's spotless. You are confused. But there was no parade of the bands on Saturday. There was no mass crowd event in Castries on Saturday. There was no jump up. There was no fete. There was no J'ouvert. Why was the city so dirty? Why was there so much garbage on the streets of Castries? And I'm talking about Bridge Street, St. Lucian's, Bridge Street. I stood up in front of CIBC and I'm looking up the street to the police station and down the street towards customs, well, where the customs building used to be, the building that just disappeared overnight, the one where Julian Alfred's photo was, and it was the building disappeared overnight. There are St. Lucians who cannot even remember there used to be a building there. I think GPH tore that down in the blink of an eye. But I'm looking towards the harbor. Rubbish all up and down the street, blowing in the wind. And it was around after 4 in the afternoon and the street was deserted, Bridge Street. So, Madam Mayor, qu'est-ce qui se passe, according to the French? What is going on? Have we no more street sweepers? Because I used to see the street sweepers on evenings passing around with their equipment, cleaning up the streets, cleaning up the gutters, cleaning up everything in the city. And they had these trucks with them. They would empty the bins, sweep the gutters, pick up the rubbish and the debris, put it in those half drums, I think. Yeah, it looks like drums that are cut in half. And they put the rubbish in that, and when the truck comes, they offload it. Sometimes the sweepers have already passed and the truck has not arrived, and then you end up seeing some of those drums full of rubbish, but then they don't stay there very long because the trucks are going all around in the city, picking up garbage, cleaning up the place. But I didn't see any street sweepers on Saturday. Now, it could be, guys, it could be that I left a little early before the street sweepers came out to work. Could be. Could be. But, Madam Mayor, or somebody says they don't work on weekends. Maybe they don't work on weekends. Could be. I don't know. I've never worked at City Council. I don't know how it is structured, but I do know that the mayor of Castries is responsible for the upkeep of the city. So, Madam Mayor, what is going on? Because it cannot be that our capital city, and let's not forget, lest we forget, because some people, when you talk about certain things, they're quick to jump on you and say, oh, you're political and you're just criticizing for criticizing's sake, and not even taking the time to see the merit in what you are saying. Madam Mayor, maybe the lack of cruise ships has made you believe, because the manifest shows, or the cruise posting show, I don't know what it's called exactly, that we have one cruise ship scheduled to visit the harbor this month, one cruise ship scheduled to visit the harbor next month, and we have no cruise ships for August. But cruise ships are not the only conveyance that tourists use to visit the island. We still have two, not one, two airports. And while we may not have the volume of tourists coming in that we used to, but they're still coming, because we hear the tourism numbers, and they always tell us that the tourism numbers are big. The best season, bumper season, this and that. So, Madam Mayor, if we are an island dependent on the tourism dollar, shouldn't our capital city be made attractive for the tourists and the visitors to come and enjoy and spend money and boost our economy? Shouldn't that be our first priority? And not just the tourists. You know what? It's not just the tourists. There are St. Lucians living in the city. We live in Castries. We work in Castries. It is our capital city, a sense of pride and joy for every St. Lucian. At least it should be. So, why is it that we have to walk through a city covered, littered with garbage? What happened to our littering laws? And somebody remarked to me, boy, I see what you're saying, you know. When Peterson Francis was the mayor of Castries, if something fell from your hand onto the ground, you would pick it up because the place was so clean, you didn't want to dirty it. Madam Mayor, I saw two gentlemen on separate occasions take out their equipment. One of them decided to water Bido Park. I don't know if he felt that the grass needed some fertilizer or if it was suffering from the drought. But he leaned against the fence and started watering Bido Park. Madam Minister, what happened to the laws that were enforced? No urinating in the city. People were charged for urinating in the city. In fact, and I don't like to talk about it, I was walking through the city one day, one unfortunate afternoon after work. And this gentleman, I'm walking, I feel some moisture. I look down. I look up. I look down and I see a stream splashing my leg. Now I know there is no fountain on Jeremy Street. I don't know what the name of the street where the Soufre bus stop is. I don't know the name of that side street, but I do know that there is no fountain on that street. So I follow the stream with my eyes, and lo and behold, it's coming from a gentleman walking across the street with a stream of water preceding him. Well, not water, but a stream of urine preceding him. Where are the city police to keep law and order in the city? The second gentleman I saw take out his business and start watering the old Printry building. I don't remember seeing that on the former mayor's. I don't see that. I didn't remember seeing that during the former mayor's tenure. And St. Lucians, you, whether you support SLP, UWP, PLP, PPP, Green Party, Staff Party, Red, Yellow, Blue, Independent Labour, Independent Patriot, Independent Orange, it doesn't matter. The city of Castries belongs to us all. So, why are we not standing up and speaking up for the state of our city? Why are we allowing this travesty to continue? The city has a mayor. The mayor's job is to maintain the city. She is tasked with the upkeep of the city. And if you don't know who the mayor is, her name is Geraldine Lendor Gabriel. Miss Gabriel or Mrs. Gabriel or whatever it is your name is, Mayor Gabriel, Mayor Lendor Gabriel. I don't know how you wish to be addressed. So I will call you Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, you need to come out of your office. You need to come out of your office and take a walk through the city to see if the people that you have delegated to clean the city are doing their jobs. Because I can tell you, they're not. So maybe you're sitting in the AC, and I don't blame you, sis. I don't blame you. It gets hot in the city. Castries is hot. It's hot. So maybe you are a little too comfortable in the AC. You need to come out and make your eyes cook your peas. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon to you, Angie. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Very interesting and topic with regards to the cleanliness of the city. And let me just say this, Angie.
Mm-hmm.
The information I'm going to disseminate right here is factual because I serve on the Castries Constituency Council, formerly the Castries City Council.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what you saw what obtained when I was on the board of the Castries Constituency Council. I don't know for what obtained now under this current mayorship,
Mm-hmm.
but when we were under the mayorship of Mr. Irvin John,
Mm-hmm. I
the
remember
city
Irvin John.
never looked.
That was the mayor before Mr. Peterson Francis, correct?
That is correct. He was one of the longest serving mayors in
I
fact in
remember. I
St.
remember.
Lucia,
I
Mr. Irvin
remember.
John.
Caller,
And I had,
hold on. Caller, are you using your headphones?
yes, hold just one
Yeah,
second.
because when you
Is
use,
that
guys, when
better?
you call and you use the headphones, it gives an echo. So please avoid using your headphones when you want to call the program. Caller,
Thanks for that, Angie. Can you
yeah,
hear me better?
better. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, so I had the privilege of serving under Mayor Irvin John. So I do not know what obtained under this current mayor,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm specifically referring to the board.
Mm-hmm.
But under the stewardship of Mr. Irvin John, there was a system. So what we did on the board, we divided the board divided itself under subcommittees. So you had a committee of maybe 4 or 5 persons within the board. That committee was responsible for the market.
Mm-hmm.
So every detail, every affair pertaining to the vendors arcade, the market, that committee would report to the general body. Then
Mm-hmm.
you had the service committee, and there was another committee I just cannot remember right now. I had the privilege of serving under the service committee, and that's the service committee's responsibility was just what you're referring to, ensuring that the city was clean. So what we did every Sunday, and persons who know me or who remember would kind of attest to that. Every Sunday between 9 and 2 p.m., we took a walk, we took a tour around the city to ensure that the city looks what it's supposed to. So if we saw broken slabs, we make a note, we report. And what we do it also, the supervisors, the heads of departments of those various departments, they
Mm-hmm.
would take that tour with us every
Right.
Sunday.
Right.
So they would have a instant view of what has to be done. So if then because let us be fair,
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect the city council, the Cassius Constituency Council now to see everything at the spool.
Right.
But what we did, we had those stores religiously every Sunday to ensure that we don't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have that tour, the entire city. You would see the councillors, and I had the privilege of serving with persons of the likes of Mr. Earl Lewis. And if he's listed, he can attest to that. Um, Mr. Peter Foster Chico's brother, Stephen Chico, all of us, we would tour the city. So we would see firsthand what has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would have those heads of departments, they would come along with us. And then any issue when it pertains to broken slabs, garbage, streets that we found that was not looking pristine, we would have it addressed.
Mm.
And then we will have what we call we have what we call an intensive garbage collection. So you
Right.
find under the stewardship of Mayor Irvin John, certain streets, the cleaning of certain streets were contracted. Because
Mm-hmm.
let us face it, the Cassius Constituency Council may not have the manpower at the spur of the moment to clean every street. So what we did, we
Right.
contracted different we divide the city into localities,
Mm-hmm.
so with zones. So
Mm-hmm.
we had contractors responsible for particular zone. So
Right.
this contractor has to report to us as to from Library Street, that's a zone. I'm just using that as an example so that your listeners and you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then those contractors would have to report as to okay, what are they? What is their stewardship? What are they? Why is the city not looking clean?
Mm-hmm.
And we had an intensive cleanliness program at the Cassius Constituency Council.
Mm-hmm.
And persons would tell us, and then not only that, we was the first board to enact what we call a vending act.
Mm-hmm.
And that was passed through the Ministry of Local Government, and the Attorney General ratified the law. It went to Parliament, Cabinet first, Cabinet approved of it, and it went to Parliament. Our board enacted a vending act. So you find there's certain no vending zones, and you cannot vend in certain areas in the city. We
Mm-hmm.
had a zero tolerance for urinating, and we ensured that the constabulary, which is
Mm-hmm.
the city police now, they were on board with us, and we had a zero tolerance for urinating. Secondly, what we did, we know the hotspots where the urinating occurs. For example, I don't want to stigmatize any local area, but by the market, right there by
Mm-hmm.
on Jeremy Street, where
Mm-hmm.
you have all those rum shops. We
Mm-hmm.
know in
In the
certain
back
those little
there.
alleyways
Yeah, in the little
at the
alleyway there.
back there,
Mm-hmm.
right, have always been there's always a problem with urinating, the stench coming out from those areas. So what we did, monthly, every month we did what we call a power wash. So
Mm-hmm.
we had a contractor, we contracted, and his responsibility, apart from cleaning the Cassius market, was to go behind those little buildings. We know the trouble spots like the Sufre bus stop is a famous spot too, where the
Mm-hmm.
urinating occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the market, behind the CDC area, on the market step there, we know that's where the problem existed. We would have a power wash, a monthly power wash, clean that area. So by the time the weekend is done, into the new week, when persons pass there, not a smell of urine. That's what we did to ensure that the city looks good. Because, like to borrow a phrase from the government minister, he said the city is a country's character, and we recognize that. We did not just talk that; we put it into action, Angie.
Right.
So it baffles me why at this present moment, the city looks shitty. smells awful.
Caller, remember, follow the rules, please. This is broadcast radio. Let's
Okay.
let's temper our language.
Yes. So I am guided by you. I withdraw the first comment. The city looks dirty, not pristine, and we want to talk about tourism. Tourists naturally in any one given country, when they visit a country, the first thing they ask, where's your city? They want to see what your city looks like. And when tourist goes, when a tourist walks or traverses your city, the palm trees, I'm sorry to say, it's not a pleasant sight for them because it smells awful.
Yeah.
I'm saying to Miss Geraldine Lendo and the mayor, come out from your office, come out from your comfort zone and see what's happening. You are paying people to do a job. Obviously, Angie and your listeners, they are not doing what they are paid to do.
Yeah.
The
There is a
city, from what I've been
disconnect.
told, it looks dirty.
It is.
I remember in the days of Mr. Mayor Irving John, like you said, you'll find between 8 and 10, you had a cleaning a gang, a cleaning crew that will go from street to street, clean the ravine, the culverts, clean the streets. By next morning, you cannot find the city looking anyway dirty or not pristine. So if that system was working, why it is that it's not working? Why it is right now, Angie? It baffles me that it's not working. Why? What is the problem? Why is the city so unsightly? Why is the city smelling so filthy and it looks dirty? Yes, still we're talking about tourism. Not too far from the boulevard and Jeremy Street, you have a Catherine's Harbor.
Right.
Cruise cruise passengers traverse that area there. And if your city smells untidy, it doesn't smell good, it doesn't look good. You think the tourists will want to come off the ship, the cruise ship? No, they will stay on the cruise ship. Who are the ones getting affected? The vendors, the market vendors, the arcade vendors, the commercial business in the city. They would get affected because the tourists will say, listen, that city doesn't look good. The aesthetics of that city does not look good. It doesn't smell good. And so I rather remain on the cruise ship. And that's probably the problem. Why a lot of the cruise passengers do not disembark on from the cruise ship to traverse Castries.
Yeah.
Another thing that we're missing is the security of the city.
Right.
At certain one given times, Angie, you cannot find one city police patrolling the city, far as the police.
Mm-hmm.
New York City, at any given hour, in even little alleyways, you will find 2 or 3 police officers patrolling the streets 24/7 because the mayor or the department understands that the safety of the city is dependent on the economy.
That's
If
right.
your city is not safe, persons will not want to come and traverse or do transact
Actually, I
business.
think you
So
said that wrong, Call. I think what you meant to say was the the economy of the city depends on the safety.
right. The economy of the city and the country is dependent on the safety of the city.
Yeah.
Okay, and if your city is not safe and your country is not safe, it takes a blow on your economy. And
That's right. And we're
I'm
seeing it.
appealing to
And
the
Caller, we're seeing it, you know. I'm telling you, we have one cruise ship, one for June, one. We have
and that is
one
scary, you
for
know.
July, and none for August.
That is very scary, and I'll tell you why. What are those vendors going to do? The market vendors, the vendors arcade, the vendors in the arcade. What are they going to do? The commercial businesses in Castries that who are dependent not solely on the locals to patronize them. They have a lot of bars. What are they going to do if our tourism numbers keeps dwindling like this? The tourism the numbers does not look good, and I don't care what the minister of tourism says about numbers and statistics, because I'm not accusing the tourism minister of tampering in the statistics.
You
I'm
don't,
just saying
Caller, Caller,
you can tweak the system.
Caller,
Uh-huh.
hold on, Caller. Let me just. You don't have to accuse the minister of doing anything to the numbers. The IMF has already told us. The IMF has done it for you. But continue.
Right. And not only the IMF. When you go around the city, from what I've been told, it's empty. What
Yeah.
you just said, Angie, on a Saturday by 4 o'clock. No, but there's no commercial
Nothing.
activity in the city.
I was on Bridge Street. That is the street with the mall in Castries, Blue Coral Mall. Bridge Street. SNS is right there. Well, you can say, okay, so SNS is already closed. So maybe people, if they need something, they go to the plaza, which is fair. But the boulevard, there are vendors in there. Churches, Domino's, and all other food establishments. And 4 o'clock, there was more wind on Bridge Street than people.
Angie, that is
In fact, there was more
unacceptable.
rubbish than people.
I believe you. Angie, let me tell you something. Truthfully speaking, that is unacceptable. I'll tell you why. If we're talking about tourism, if we're talking about St. Lucia being a developing country, a developing state, by 4 o'clock, your city is supposed to be lively. Now, I'm not comparing New York City in no way, shape, or form to St. Lucia, but in Manhattan, which is a city of New York, 4 o'clock is buzzing. 5 o'clock buzzing. Don't ask for 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. Buzzing is economic activity. You know why? Because the city, the New York State, have put have developed the city in such a way that there's certain attractions that will keep people in the city. Tell me what will keep you in the city, Angie, after 6. Tell me one area
Right now,
that you find.
currently,
Yes,
if I don't get bus, I'm being totally honest.
exactly.
Because
Exactly.
the only
You
thing,
telling me in 20, hold on, eh? You telling me in 2026, Angie, we do not even have a cinema in the city? When years gone by, we had two,
okay,
Clarkson Gately Cinema.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Let me clap for you. Because
You telling me
the
in
plan
2026,
was,
hold on, Angie.
hold on, the
You
plan
telling me,
was, and I don't know if you will know this, but guys, the plan was that there would be a cinema at the Blue Coral Mall.
exactly. You telling me in 2026, Angie, and we claim that St. Lucia is a developing state and is independent, that we do not even have a museum in the
Okay.
city?
Well,
You
well,
telling me in
well,
twenty-twenty-six?
about the museum, let's be honest, coming soon, because the family of the late Sir John Compton, they are in the process of putting a museum. They're working on opening a museum in the city. But
Okay,
oh,
that is great news. That is
yeah,
welcoming
it is.
news.
And also, we do have a city, sorry, a museum on at Montfortune next to the OECS secretariat there. There's a small
Mm-hmm.
building, and a museum was opened there, I think, back
But
in 2022 or 2023. I had the privilege of covering it. Let me tell you, if you get the chance, St. Lucians, if you come home or if you're just in the thing, take the opportunity to go there, because there are some very
but
interesting drawings of the area before there were buildings. And I mean, it's worth. There are a lot of Arawak artifacts and Carib artifacts, so it's worth a visit to that small museum on the Mon.
But Auntie, with all that that museum, there's not much, not many persons knew of such a museum. So that
Yeah,
tells you the marketing of that museum is poor, because I did not even know that
yeah.
museum existed.
In
But I
fact,
was
when
saying,
it was opened, I covered the story for Hot 7 TV, so that's why I know about it.
oh, okay, so you would know, but I and the average Joe public would not know of such a museum,
Yeah.
and that's where the marketing comes in. I was saying too, in 2026, you telling me that we have a young population, not even a serious recreational park where they have rides and kids can play. Where we could even have a water, how do you call it, a water park, so
In
that the kids can
Castries,
recreate. Yes, it's possible.
caller,
It's possible.
caller. I don't know if you know. I'm going to have to kick you off my platform, caller. Let me tell you why. The I was listening to Newspin and a lady called, and she said, and I quote, "We like Philip J. Pierre because he has realistic expectations." Caller, what you are saying there is not realistic. That's futuristic. Now, granted,
But
granted,
mhm.
we are caller,
But we have to be futuristic, Angie. We
caller.
cannot
You
think.
know how
We
I
cannot
feel.
think.
Let me tell you that I grew up in
Uh,
the 80s. Let me explain this to you for you to understand. We are an episode of Flintstones currently, but you telling us
but that's
that we should be an episode of the Jetsons. Caller,
but
have a
that's what I'm
nice day.
saying. No, hold on, Angie. Hold on before I jump off, and I will
Mm-hmm.
jump off. I'm just saying, if we're talking about being a developing state, if
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about independence, if we're talking about being proud people, we have to look at the modern way of doing things. The world is leaving us behind. Let me tell you, Angie. When I visit St. Lucia, I'm not putting down my country. I just want my country to be better. I want persons not to misunderstand what I'm saying here. Because I'm not putting down my country. I love St. Lucia. I'll always be St. Lucian first. But we have to be modernized. The world is slowly leaving us behind. When you tell me you
Leaving.
ordered
Caller, we missed the bus.
or
Eh?
has left us
Caller, let me
behind,
tell you that. We missed the ferry. We missed the train. We missed the bus. We missed the plane. We even missed the raft and the canoe. Caller, no puyansai. We are
let me tell
behind.
you,
They have
Angie,
left us behind.
the
They've left
way
us in
behind. Let
the
me tell you,
stone
even
ages.
and I don't want to segue, I don't want to digress. Even when it comes to cleaning a city, in the United States of America, you don't see people taking shovel and a barrow, a wheelbarrow. You have machines, you have equipment, they pass around, they sweep up the debris. For example, you see that primarily when after the leave, they have the Labor Day activity, the West Indian
Mm-hmm.
Parade,
Yeah.
which is annually every 1st of September. By the time the police shuts down that thing, because years gone by, they would have extended the hours from about 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. But because of the crime,
Mm-hmm.
the police department had decided, okay, by 5, 6 o'clock, this thing is shut down. As soon as the police give the directive that, okay, parade is shut down, you see the equipment coming and clean the streets. You don't see a man with a barrow and a shovel picking up garbage. Equipment, a truck passes, sweeps everything, and by the time you have half an hour, the entire Eastern Parkway is clean, squeaky clean. That is what I want to see for St. Lucia. Modernization, technology. The world has left us when it comes to technology. And so, going back to what I said about castries, I want to see a modernized castries. I don't want, let me tell you, Angie, you see those CDC buildings?
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the ones on Jeremy Street.
Mm-hmm.
In my view, if I'm prime minister tomorrow, that thing going down. That is an eyesore in your city. Particularly now that you have all those rum shops under there, and people when they want to they ease themselves, the fastest thing to do is go behind some corner and ease themselves. We can
Caller,
do
caller,
better,
let me
Saint
tell you
Lucia.
something. There is a public bathroom right there, on Jeremy Street. Right
Angie,
there at the Jeremy
when
Street
persons
Plaza.
consume alcohol, listen, let us be realistic. Now, I'm not making an excuse for urination.
Mm-hmm.
That is and by the way, urinating in public is against the law on our books. Okay? But I am just saying, I like to be realistic. When a man consumes alcohol, a few beers, maybe he drinks 6 or 7 beers, and in this thing he really wants to go off. You think you're gonna think about comfort station where you have to pay $2? The quickest thing for him, instinctly, is to go behind some corner and urinate. So all I'm saying is, those bars, they should be more accommodating. So if one person is using the bathroom, you should have at least 2 or 3 bathrooms, so that okay, if one person is using the bathroom, another person can use one another. These are the things that should be done with proper planning. What I see there, that whole CDC block, as in my view, should go. We're talking about the aesthetics of the city. It's not looking good. And I'm just appealing to the Cashes Constituency Council. You have the if you do not have the manpower, lobby to your government, the local government minister, and say, hey, we have a shortage of manpower. We need to clean the city. It has to be done. And secondly, Mayor Lendo, I'm just giving you some advice, which is what obtained before under mayorship of Mr. Irvin John. You break down your board into subcommittees so that the bulk of the work is not consuming to you and a few members. And you have those subcommittees. service, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how to set up your subcommittees, and they report to the general body. That's what that obtained under mayorship Irving John, and it worked. The city used to be clean. It smelled clean. But right now, what I am seeing or hearing, the city does not look good, and I'm worried because, like I said, we're into the carnival season.
Hmm.
Okay, persons take note of your how you clean your city. Two things that visitors take note of when they visit your country. The first thing they see is your airport. And if your airport is not looking good, that tells a story about your country. And when they land on, sadly, when they land at Urinary International Airport, and particularly when it rains, and they have to go through that rain to go through customs and immigration, that's not a good look. That's one. That's one downfall that I find that we have to rectify when it comes to our country, Saint Lucia. Secondly, when they visit your city and they see your city doesn't look good and it doesn't smell good, it says a lot about the country and national pride. And I'm just saying, appealing to the Cassius Constituency Council, clean the city. If you're missing manpower, if you do not have the manpower and the equipment, please lobby with your local government minister. And I'm sure he has a lot of bravado. He speaks loud. He can go in cabinet and speak loud on your behalf and get the monies, get the financing to give you the manpower and give you the equipment if that was the problem. But if that's not the problem, if that the problem is beyond that, it's a internal lack of functioning issue. Break down your board into subcommittees and get the work done, because at the end of the day, the taxpayer is paying you, Madam Mayor. The taxpayer is paying your board, because I
That's
understood
right.
now it's like $1,000 per meeting. I don't know how true is that. That's what I'm told. Okay, so the taxpayer is paying you guys to do a job to keep the city clean. Do the job. Have a blessed day, Angie.
Thank you so much for that caller. Right, so we have someone, guys, who was actually on the board and who actually knows how these things work. And we got some valuable insight. Thank you. On the Facebook platform, somebody is saying Castries is the center of dirtiness. Hurtful, but true. Hurtful, but true. Somebody else is saying, hello, Castries belongs to drunkenness. Bar all over the place. The new business is selling rum, missy. Somebody's asking, Angie, who is the mayor? Tell us, please. The mayor of Castries is Miss Geraldine Lendor Gabriel. I don't know if it's Miss or Mrs., but Geraldine Lendor Gabriel. Another person is saying, do you realize any business that closes a bar replaces it? These bars are called the Hospital for Broken Men and Women. The OKEU, let me say that again. The OKEU is for when you can't take again, you go and RIP. That's what we are becoming. Nothing to broaden the youth's mind. Men coming together and open bars to give young people loans, open banks. I need my glasses. Men coming together and giving and open bars to give young people loans at 2% to build business, to have a family and take care of them. Well, we're just building broken families, drinking rum all day. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, my darling. How you doing?
Wow. Good afternoon to you, Madam Celebrity.
Hey, what's up,
Yes,
girl?
yes. So, my lady. So you have ministers dipper laying on Thursday nights.
Yes, let them depally. The truth, let us have them. So when you see you hit them with the truth, they have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They have to get uncomfortable, and that's the only way we can get them uncomfortable.
Hit them with
Not
the
with the
truth. I like that.
politicians telling them the truth,
Mm-hmm.
because they keep on playing politics. It's the average man that have to give it to them.
Right.
Study what is happening in the country and
Mm-hmm.
let them have it. And I am telling the people of St. Lucia, there is no need to be afraid of Richard Frederick. There is no need to be afraid of Richard Frederick, regardless you're a male, female, child. It is your constitutional right to go after any politician that is doing wrong in the country. Okay? And as far as I said, Richard Frederick is not supposed to be on a talk show insulting the country. Enough is enough with Philippe Pierre.
Everybody's quiet.
Huh? Everybody in the country
Everybody
is
is
quiet.
quiet.
Huh? Because you speak the truth. You're not lying again on the minister. Before you say something, is here quick to come up forward. You want to protect yourself to get rich on the poor people's head, and nobody's supposed to speak. That's our tax money we speaking. When we speak, we defend our taxes. We defend our taxes when we speak. If his followers doesn't know that, they need to educate themselves and know about these things. Instead of sitting there and every Thursday night listening to lies, where the man is enriching himself and is destroying the country. Look, we have already closed in. The world has closed us in St. Lucia with these visa restrictions and what to do. All of y'all are depending on him because y'all know if he's not there, y'all would have been out of government already.
Now, you mentioned the visa restrictions, and that was something I was going to come to in the second part of the show. But, guys, now that she's mentioned it, St. Lucia, watch your bread. Because we are being boxed in. I've said this before and I will say it again. Pretty soon, the St. Lucian passport will only take you to Rat Islet and Birdshit Rock. And if you don't know where Birdshit Rock is...
The sad thing, Angie, they are telling the people, they know that people do not have the education to understand. They are telling the people they don't need to, St. Lucians doesn't travel to Ireland.
Who says that?
Is that?
Who said that? Who says that?
What government or government supporters will open their mouth and spew that kind of garbage?
Oh my goodness. We have St. Lucians living everywhere, you know. I was watching...
But we have St. Lucians living as far as down in Australia. We have them all in whatever parts of Africa. They're everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere.
You see me, I don't tolerate nonsense. You see nonsense? I cannot tolerate nonsense.
So they're going to say that St. Lucians don't... Because the next country, it's the whole United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is not just Britain. It's not just England. It is England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales.
Yeah, there's
England
a number of them together.
and Ireland have already put restrictions. You know what's coming? Wales will put restrictions on us. And
let me tell you, the whole of Europe
Scotland,
will close St. Lucia in
Scotland. And if you read
the way Ernest Hiller is handling that CIP.
And not only that, did you read the reasoning given by the Irish government? They said they are moving in the direction of England and Europe.
Because England, North of Ireland is England.
And
it's
Europe.
England.
And Europe. They're moving in the direction of England and Europe. So you know what that means? What's in Europe? The Schengen visa.
You see Matnik, you see that is just there?
Europe.
That we have to get the visas to go to Matnik.
Europe.
They will do it.
Once we lose access, once we lose the Schengen visa, all we will be able to do is go on the Mon and see Matnik without a visa. Trust and believe.
And these people are on Facebook, social media, they're talking, defending the nonsense Philip Pierre is doing there. You all need to wake up and stop putting the little salary Philip Pierre giving you all over the country. Because the country is bigger than you all and more important than you all. Bigger and more important than you all. That's the same thing when God put me on that side of my country to advocate for my country. And you see, he came up with that bribe, the bribe. Stop taking the bribe. Those in authority. You're taking the bribe and you're sinking your country. That is why all the other islands are there, the countries in the world. Because of bribe, they're sinking. And St. Lucia, I don't see St. Lucia far from coming out from where we are there now.
My goodness.
And these people playing like it's a game that is going on. That is people lives that, and
Yep, yep, yep.
That is people's lives and their livelihood. If you only care about I have a job and once I am working, what's about the other people that are struggling? What's about the other people that cannot make it happen? But you know what I want America to do? Them take all of them visas. Take all of them visas. Take the elites. Take the rich boys. Take all of them. You see when the visa expire upon renewal, pues you. Even the diplomatic visas I want them to take.
Now, here's the thing that these people are ignoring. The advisory from Ireland says all persons need a visa, including holders of diplomatic and government passports.
It's good for them. You know what will happen to them now? The ministers. You know they always in Dubai. They will have to take private plane to go to Dubai. Because they might not be able to land nowhere in Europe. They might not be able to land and pass through any airport.
Because they said they need transit visas as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And St. Lucians, if you're, my God, St. Lucians, the average man, if you cannot understand what is happening there with the country, keep away from the politics, please. Because you are doing more harm to the country than you could ever imagine. Keep away from the politics, and I need the people, regardless if you're supporting UWP, like I tell people, I am supporting UWP because I know they're a political party to do better for the country. You hear what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see myself as a political hack, and I will defend Alan Shasley to the T. I will not withdraw and take a bribe. Because that is what he was trying to do for our country. Fix up this country. Stamp out the level of corruption that is in the country. Yeah. Put policies that will help the standard of living for the poor people so that we could survive in the country. When you all finish some of y'all because y'all didn't get your way, y'all want to turn around and embrace labor to finish cleaning the country, and y'all know very well what is taking place in the country that is not good. We do not have health care. You have a prime minister play football, play political, whatever with the health care. Up to now, we cannot get a hospital. You all said the hospital when UWP was there
is a box.
that they could have finished the old building with. They could have gotten chemical and paint. Chemical and paint. You all will have your first term there. You all spend over $400 million, and you all cannot open the hospital. There's still a problem. You still asking for another $50 million. When you get that $50 million, what is the guarantee that this place is going to open and have the proper service that we need?
Well, in a way, you are right, because if 400 million couldn't do it, I don't see what the 50 million can do.
And all that time, inflation in our dada, inflation in our pockets to facilitate the corruption that is going in this country, regardless if it's healthcare, infrastructure, where it's coming from. The inflation is for us to pay the taxes. The poor people, if you cannot understand that, and there's no way Philip Pierre will cushion you all because he needs the money. He needs the money. He will not cushion, he will not do like what?
Friday, yeah, and Mia Motley.
He will not do it.
And I'm afraid, caller, I am afraid, and I feel it in my bones, that at the end of the month, when the pass-through mechanism is applied, I am afraid that gas price is going to go up. Now it's already at $16.75, so that means it might go up to $17.
This man will send up that gas price to a place he has to be comfortable. That he has to collect over $50 million for the month. He said the last time, he said, how much he collect? About 40?
Mm-hmm.
About 40
No, that was
million.
for the
I don't want to go wrong,
2.5% health and security levy.
Mm-hmm. He collected 40 million.
You're right.
Exactly.
He said only 40 million he collected. Only.
Only. So that means only wasn't enough at all.
No.
So he need another 40 on that. Yeah? And St. Lucian's then listening to Pierre. And St. Lucian's, I put you all at St. Lucian's, I don't say Labour and UWP. St. Lucian's there listening to Pierre tear down and watching Pierre destroy this country. And you all know what the man is doing is wrong. Look, this afternoon I heard a letter from Timothy Polio about the nurses. And in fact, the nurses on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting for position, all kind of nonsense like that. What is that? And I'm calling out the nurses, if they are listening, if they are hearing, come together as a unit. Come together as one body. You all don't need no union to bargain for y'all. You all don't need a union to bargain for y'all. If y'all put your heads together, tell the union, go and lie down, because all of them are Labour Party supporters after that.
Mm-hmm.
And take a stand. Take that stand. You all don't need the union to represent you all. The government cannot fire you all. They cannot touch you all. And I'm calling on the people of St. Lucia, please do not let the country sink. Do not let the country sink. You have your children. It is not good when it comes to the crime. We have a police commissioner who memtani. Akwadi, iwigwete, ivie position. It's like, when you study these people, it's like, the man really didn't want to come back. It's like, something just forced him, or they had him at gunpoint for him to take the position. You don't hear it from him. People getting paid. Inflation high. You have to go to the supermarket and shop and send your taxes so these people can get paid. Nobody's doing nothing. Everybody is just fighting for position. Like, what is that?
Well, Alison, siyo paka bali kastri ukwe yukai felot bagay. Anyway, thank you so much for your contribution. I hope your appeal has not fallen on deaf ears, and people understand exactly what you are trying to say. Thank you so much for that, my love. Yeah, bye-bye. Alison Georges, guys, calling on the masses, come together, and make sure our country doesn't sink. Somebody says, here, people need jobs. The mayor should see to it that city police make an example of the people that is doing the nastiness. And that person is referring to the persons urinating in the city. Another person says, Castries turn to Nigeria, dirty and stinky. Another individual is saying here, but Ian, the mayor is AA. I'm not reading that. Guys, be nice. I'm warning. According to the Prime Minister, don't make me use the big stick. Was it the Prime Minister who talked about the big stick? I don't know. But don't make me use the big stick. Okay, somebody says, hello, wait, let me get this. Angie and the caller, what are you calling for? You want people to work? You want the mayor to work? Like, really? You want the police officers to patrol the city, to actually perform their duties? You also want the sweet smoothie girl in Castries Southeast to work? Behave. You want these people to sweat and actually do hard work? Hour with you Fire FM people. Well, they should not have taken the job then. Not my fault they took the job. Somebody says, don't cry for the vendors, please, Ian. The government is in power. The government is working, so that's fine. Leave my vendors alone. Another person says, if the cruise ship were only for Maria Island, we would be just fine. I understand that when agriculture was our thing in St. Lucia. So John said that every time there was not a ship docking in the harbor, he would be worried. Now St. Lucia's lifeline is tourism, and we have one ship per month at best. And these ministers are boasting. Boasting what? They should stop boasting and start boasting. Nada says, Ian, you can't put the country down because the country is already down. Somebody else says, the mayor is wearing wooden glasses. Another said, Alison Juke Richard Bobo. Another says, any grown man who insults women, be sure he started practicing on his mother. Another person says, straight up. Somebody says, there is no more bread to watch. Oh, Lord have mercy. Another one says, thank God for mango season. Somebody says, true. Another person says, they don't care about the people. Another says, Alan is the greatest. We have a call on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Listen, I'm all right. Listening to you. I concur with the last caller. We're not supposed to be afraid of any MP, no prime minister, nothing of that, no governor general, nothing of that sort. We are to hold them accountable. We have put them in a position to work for us. To work for us, we have employed them. And we have to make that clear. People have to have that understanding from an early age as well, that we are the ones who have hired these people, and we are the ones who are paying their salaries.
Yep.
And even if it's CIP money, and the CIP money is still our passport sales, and the passport belongs to all of us, our country. So sorry for them who think that they are gods, but they are not. We
That's
have
right.
that control.
That's right.
And we need to teach that to our young men and women ASAP. As a matter of fact, I think we should inculcate that in them from the time they've gone, by the time they've gone to go to preschools, go to primary and infant and primary schools, high schools, and whatever tertiary education that they're doing, whether it be St. Lucia out of St. Lucia.
I agree with you 100%, caller. And I
country.
always say
Once
that.
upon a time,
I always say that. And you know what else I say? I think it is high time that we demand a fair day's work for a fair day's pay from our
we have to hold them
ministers.
accountable.
Yeah. It's high time we demand that, because these people are getting paid. When I pay my water bill, they're getting paid and I don't have water in my pipe. When I pay my light bill, they are getting paid. When I pay my internet bill, they are getting paid. When I pay their phone bill, they're getting paid. When I go to the supermarket and I have to make life choices, do I need chicken today? Do I turn vegetarian tomorrow? They are getting paid.
Exactly.
Should I use lime under my arm instead of roll-on? They are getting paid. So work.
And you know what? And once they're getting paid, they are increasing taxes in our backsides, and that makes us, and we are not even able to buy the necessities.
That's right.
The bare necessities for us to survive in this country. Now, Philip, I have a question for you. The price of fuel is plummeting again. It's going down on the world market. Big time. Let me say this again. The price of fuel is going down rapidly on the world market. Isn't it time for us to demand that Philippines takes the price of fuel down immediately? Isn't it time for us to demand that Philippines take the price of fuel down immediately? Are we going to see the bus drivers, where y'all and taxi drivers, who was, oh, y'all want to increase bus fare and this and that and the other? Where are you guys?
Well, caller, it says the price of fuel is at an all-time low. 85 $85. $85, and it's
I think it's actually going down.
Yeah, it's going down. I'm looking at the other one. It says 83.64.
And it's going to go down tomorrow. It's going to go down and go down and go down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe it might even end up being $60 a barrel again. Why are we paying $16.75 for a gallon of fuel in St. Lucia still? If they didn't make noise for the last 6 years or 5 years that Philippe and them had put the price of fuel up on us, it is time for us to start making noise. It is time. Now, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not staying much very long.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you talk about Castries and the state of Castries. I drive through Castries every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you everything you said is the truth.
Oh, caller,
I'm a
it's saying,
child.
hold on, caller, it says the price is $83.71. It just updated. It's now
Okay.
$83.71.
Okay. Angie,
Yep.
could you believe it? And it is going to go down again tomorrow and the day after. It's going to go, the price of fuel is going down on the market. So
Wake
what
up,
is Philip
Philippe, wake up.
excuse? What is his excuse
The Strait
for
of
having us
Hormuz.
pay $16.75? The
The Strait
Strait
of
of
Hormuz.
Hormuz is open. Yeah, which strait? He's Strait of Hormuz?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's
He's
crook.
straight,
Maybe,
the one
maybe,
that you're located
maybe,
in Mancha or Antigua.
maybe his is not straight. Maybe it's crooked. I don't know, caller. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know. Maybe the one that is supposed to use is straight and his is crooked. How can you heard you
You
know
think
about
so?
the caller? He
His
might be
straight
the.
is not.
You
His straight
remember?
of Hormuz is
Listen,
crooked.
listen. You remember there was that song we used to sing at primary school where they said there was a crooked man who walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence upon a crooked tile. We don't know who the man is. They never told us. But it just might be Philip J.
Okay.
Pierre. We don't know. We don't know.
It might just be him, Angie.
We don't
It might,
know.
but I'm telling you that it's time to make noise.
Mm.
It is time to make noise. We cannot have a government stifling us with high fuel prices, stifling us with high prices, period. Because from the time you put the price of fuel up, the domino effect is that everything else goes up in price. And if people don't know how that works, go find out because we're tired of explaining that to you all. I'm tired of explaining, you tired of explaining, I'm tired of listening to other people explain the effects that when you raise the price of fuel has on goods and commodities in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not, when I go to the pumps, I don't want to pay 16.75 for a gallon of fuel again. I keep in bare noise.
Hmm.
I'm keeping noise. I go to calculate what I should pay for a gallon of fuel soon. I'm going to calculate it. I haven't yet, but I will calculate it. Do not charge me 16.75 for a gallon of fuel. Philip, take down the price of a gallon of fuel. I don't care what you say about, oh, you giving people tax break. What tax break you giving people? The 2.5 compounded tax. The little break you give people, the 2.5 compounded tax, plus the 12.5 on top of that, comes up to a lot more than the little break you're giving people in a tax amnesty. And you're not the only one who gave people a tax break. UWP came and decreased taxes, decreased prices of certain things, stop. They had a moratorium on property tax and all of that. You are not new. This is not new, Philippe. But we were still paying $13.95 per gallon of fuel. People, open your eyes. Now,
Mm-hmm.
next one. If we have a major storm in St. Lucia right now, do you know the state this place is going to be? That Shock River by the bridge, and I'm saying it. I'm saying it for them because I'm saying it. Maybe tomorrow they'll have backhoes in there. Let me
Mm-hmm.
put pressure on them.
Right.
the Bottomless River,
Mm-hmm.
the um Shock River, there are trees growing. There are trees, and let me say, there are trees, literally trees growing out of the river bed right now,
Wow.
where the soil has what's the word, settled,
Mm-hmm.
and big trees. You can actually stand up on the bridge, on the half bridge they have there now. After they put their demonic flags, now the bridge is falling apart. Um, you can literally stand on the bridge and touch the top of the trees. This is not a joke. So if we have a storm or hurricane or something, where is the water supposed to pass? Marshall River, I said it. Let them go and clean it now. Go and clean it up. Marshall River is so dirty with garbage by Grass Street.
Caller, let
The
me tell
part
you,
of it
that's
that
not the
passed
only
through
place,
Grass
you
Street
know. You're talking
has
about
so much
Castries.
garbage.
That's not the only.
Castries, I'm talking about Castries now.
It's not thing only to Castries. You know, a caller called last week and asked me to look at the cul-de-sac bridge, the Fewa Bridge, right next to
Yes,
the constituency rep's office. And true
yes.
to form, when I was passing, I peeked. I was so embarrassed. I had to turn my face. I don't know if that's an extension of Dayglow, but something needs to be done. Something needs to be done.
Okay, if we have not even prepared. We have not even prepared for what preparations have we heard government has taken for in case we have a storm or a hurricane any night, any day now, when we are in the hurricane season. What information is out there? What? Philippe, do your work. In fact, you failed us. It's more than five. It's 5 years. You have failed us. It is July 2026 is going to be 5 years since you are there. And you have not done one thing to better St. Lucia for a St. Lucian person. Let me say that again.
Mm-hmm.
July 2026 will be will be 5 years since Philip Pierre became Prime Minister of St. Lucia. In that 6 years, St. Lucia looks so dirty and is so nasty and is so smelly. And there's garbage all over the place. The roads are a mess. There's no water. There's nothing. Everything is expensive, and the infrastructure and people, besides people suffering, the infrastructure of the country is broken. So much so, St. Lucia is the only country in the Caribbean that our economy is in the minus. We did not add 1% to economic growth. Our economic growth has gone below minus. We are in the red. All other countries are in the plus, if people can understand that, in the positive,
Mm-hmm.
and we are in the red. What are we doing in Philippe and his entourage governing our country? What do we still have them there doing? What? What? Solutions, if you're getting irritated, I am. If you're getting agitated, I am. If you're not ready to go and march, I am. If you're not ready to say bring down the price of fuel, I am. We literally have a reactive government. You all are talking about castries, and I heard a gentleman call, the first gentleman who called your program today.
Mm-hmm.
And he is saying that in the time of Peterson Francis as mayor, castries was so clean, and how they were going, and they were. I tell him, do not tell SLP administration how to do their work. We have to tell them there's a hole in the road over there, go and block it. We have to tell them the gutters over there are are filthy with bottles and whatever, go and clean it. We have to tell, you are telling me there is no plan from this SLP administration as to how to handle the affairs of our country? We have billions or millions, hundreds of millions of dollars missing from CIP passports. Yes, it is missing. It is our money. Nobody can account for it. We're not hearing anything from Nemo. I'm just trying to find Nemo. Finding Nemo because and we in the hurricane season.
Caller, I wasn't ready. Nemo is going around giving people Ziploc bags. That's what they're doing.
What?
To
What's in the Ziploc bag?
I don't
To
know.
put your
They didn't say.
to put your ID card and
I
to
think
put your
so.
ID card and
I
your little bit of ring or your chain or whatever you may have
I
that
think
you
so.
want to keep safe.
Yeah.
I can go and buy Ziploc bags.
Well,
Where's Nemo? I'm trying to find Nemo.
Why, let me tell you, you hard talkers, you all
I
get
have
me every
learned.
time.
I have, and I will say that publicly. Yeah?
Mhm.
I have learned just not too long ago that there's someone that
Mhm.
applied. The person is qualified in disaster preparedness and management and whatever. The person comes from out of St. Lucia.
Mhm.
The person actually applied to work here in St. Lucia, even for consultancy employment. The person does hold a St. Lucia passport.
Mhm.
And that person applied, and they never responded to this individual. Today, this individual is in Indonesia
Wow.
on a consultancy. And we need disaster preparedness people. You see what's going on here?
Yeah.
These people sitting there in these offices are so comfortable,
Mhm.
and they are actually threatened by the presence of people who know how to do this job and do it
Mhm.
good, like
Mhm.
very good, excellent, that they will not give them a chance to come because they will feel
They're going to make them
embarrassed and
look
ashamed
bad.
that
They're going to
somebody
make
else has
them look
come in
bad.
to do the work and is doing it best at their best.
That
And
is
St.
right.
Lucia will have a disaster preparedness plan for the first, or maybe not for the first time, but a disaster preparedness plan that is equal to when the European administration was there, or even better.
Yeah.
That you will let those minds go to waste. Our nurses are leaving this country in droves. That's why we don't
Mhm.
have nurses at the hospital. Our doctors are leaving in droves. We don't have doctors at the hospital. Our health sector is a total disaster. We have health care. We do not have health care in St. Lucia.
Mhm.
Philippe, you cannot be the prime minister of St. Lucia if you cannot do the work. We need to stop asking Philippe to step down. But we don't want Ernest either. We need for the whole clan of them to get out of our parliament and get out now. You know, sometimes I want to say certain things and I have to hold back.
Hmm.
And I'm asking the question, do you all need us to have an organization such as Boko Haram here in St. Lucia for y'all to learn? Now, I'm not pushing listen,
Yeah.
I'm
Please,
not
please,
pushing
let's not advocate for
nothing
things that
bad,
we don't want.
but I am asking a question. Do y'all need us to form an organization such as Boko Haram so we can put y'all out of our parliament?
Hmm.
Because y'all are not doing the work. However, y'all are traveling, y'all are eating well, y'all are partying well, y'all are driving the best cars, y'all have the nicest lives, y'all have the biggest houses, y'all are purchasing the most property, y'all are owning pieces of solution, y'all are pulling property out of St. Lucia in England, in Europe, in Dubai, in the US, in Canada, and then you'll have us like we eating rocks, like we eating grass like cows. You'll have us like we can just drop dead on the street like a dog that it got hit by a car, and you don't care because we have no medical facilities. We have to put it in plain capital letters for these people. We have to stop buttering it up.
Yeah.
It's time that we do this, because if we don't, I don't want to use the word chew, but I will say chew no fun.
You cannot say that on air, caller. I think I understand, but next time spell it. I think you should go back to try and find Nemo. Have a wonderful day, caller. Have a wonderful day. Keep searching. I might come and help you when I leave work. Have a wonderful day.
Listen, Angie, we need to get serious in
We do. We do.
because this is too much.
It
It's
is.
too much.
It is.
Thank you, Angie.
You're
Thanks.
welcome, caller.
All right.
Somebody on the live wants to identify as Irish because finally a country does what she wanted them to do. Somebody on the WhatsApp platform is saying next Italy will ask us to get visas to come there. Another says on the Facebook platform, does winning elections twice mean that PJP is a good prime minister, or by extension make this SLP administration unable to engage in corruption? Questions are being asked. Another person is saying no economical plans from this lazy administration. Fogged mind, these Alibabas have bankrupted the country, thriving on taxes and fat economy. Somebody says just now, not even Irish potatoes that are going to come here. Oh Lord, y'all know how I love fries. Somebody says somebody says the third for his money. I don't know what that means. Another says Angie nice is a biscuit. Okay. Boy, let me tell you, your hard talkers, y'all are joking today. Somebody says, good afternoon, Angie. I think we need to have Mr. Guy Joseph to visit the, I think we need Mr. Guy Joseph to visit the studio in the afternoon for an open view on the runnings of this government. I will endeavor to see if I can find him. I haven't spoken to Mr. Joseph in a while, but I can see if I can source him. Somebody says, caller, when will that happen? I don't know. Somebody says, caller, it was 1795 and we said nothing. True. Another says, Angie, PJP is awake. The dropping price of fuel is a toothache to him. Another one says, hello, what is fuel going up and down? If we don't buy fuel at the price they charge us on old fuel they still have, we only have to pay high prices when they order high fuel. Messier, they still charging us on old goods. They killing us with old goods with new prices. Somebody says St. Lucians have to stop making noise on the shows and get on the road to demonstrate. Send some strong signals to the government. That is when they will hear us. Another says, caller, the tax amnesty is not about us at all. It is for him to get us to put money in his hands so he could do what he intends on doing for everyone but us, the deserving citizens. He only wants us to think that it's about us when we talk about tax amnesty. Somebody's asking me a very, very hard question. I don't know how I will answer. But the person says, Angie, may I ask, where is the Minister of Foreign Affairs? With all these visa restrictions imposed by the United States, UK, Canada, and now presently Ireland on St. Lucia, has Mr. Alpha Baptiste made a statement or addressed to the nation surrounding these serious issues? Aren't we the ones paying these ministers high salaries with our tax dollars? When will these politicians stop taking us for fools? Ha. Let me tell you. Caller. Belle Chession, but wrong place because caller. I think the last time I saw Alva Baptiste was in the House of Parliament sitting there saying nothing. I didn't hear him. I saw him sitting there saying nothing. I'm not even sure if he was there. I need to go back and check the footage to see if he was there. Somebody says, caller post a picture, necrology. Another says, we need to find Nemo before something happens. Another one says, very soon even the beds will walk away from the hospital. Wow. Another one says, caller, you know how that feels? You have to tell your boss, fix this and that. What that tell you? You put people to lead, but you have to tell them when to work. Like if you don't ask, nothing will be done. When leaders is this. I understand why women say there are no men, because they have to tell them what to do. As family leader, head of the home, we just in trouble trying to get a good leader from a broken family. LOL. Somebody says, caller, the SLPs will use what you say to lie on UWP. Another says, the people should have at a time a national month of no water bills paid. This individual has high hopes. But my goodness, another person say, bad gal. Someone says, caller, thank you. Tell Angie you just said a minister name. You people, you see y'all. Somebody says, Angie, isn't Ireland part of Europe? So pretty soon the whole European Union will impose visa restrictions pretty soon. Guys, we need to pause for a commercial break because, my God, somebody says, Angie will only get visa-free access to Timbula country. That's not true. Angie not going nowhere near. Let me tell you, the nearest I will get to Nigeria is the accent. Ha, me. Open your ears so you can hear. Me, this girl. I will never go there. We'll pause for a quick commercial break. And we will be right back. But before we go, we have to share this. Somebody is saying, Alpha is practicing new Neil Diamond songs to add to his karaoke repertoire. That's it. That's enough. Guys. Oh my goodness. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You already know the power of Licks products on your clothes and household. You Licks your whites and clean clothes, leaving them fresh and scented. You Licks your dishes and left your hands protected with vitamin E. You Licks your floors, even Licks your toilet. Now expand and bring you 3 new scents in our various offering. Balmy Sunshine, Summer Sunshine, and Thousand Flowers. And Licks those stains off of colored clothes with this scent bleach. This was even further soap bars in deodorant and antibacterial. So Licks tiredness and bacteria out and refresh your tired body. Your products giving you Licks? Then choose Licks from G'day Distribution Inc. Available at all leading supermarkets.
Sleep with a relaxing ride down Bill's River. With your cares behind as you lose yourself in the tranquility of nature. Kids home from school, no problem. Take them on an unforgettable adventure. St. Lucia Band Rafting introduces its Summer River Special. Start with a welcome cocktail to set the mood. Then enjoy a 90-minute guided tour and a quarter filled with drinks and all refreshment. It'll start from 9:30 a.m. and run every 2 hours with the last tour at 9:30 p.m. Adults pay 100 EC per person. Kids ages 5 to 11 years old, 50 EC. We are located in the Rosal Valley, next to St. Lucia Distillers. For reservations, call 1-758-720-2020. Don't forget to like St. Lucia Valley Rafting on Facebook and Instagram. St. Lucia Valley Rafting. Let us take you from stressed to relaxed in 90 minutes flat.
Pretty soon my land will be gone in the hands of
Fire FM 107.7 presents Full Disclosure, a hard-hitting political program bringing you the facts. Full political issues, hosted by Foster Chico every Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. on Fire FM Call us at 758-572-3473. It's Full Disclosure this Monday and every Monday, 4 to 7 p.m. with Foster Control.
Looking for a new way to enjoy your St. Lucia vacation? Book a tailor-made tour with Sea Breeze Adventures. Explore the island's untouched natural beauties as you visit hidden coves and beaches along the coastline with any one of our whole or half-day experience. We offer a variety of adventure opportunities, including sport fishing, sunset cruises, island picnics, whale and dolphin watching, and water taxi service. To book, contact Captain Warren at telephone number 1758-713-3196. Seabreeze Adventures, not just a tour, but an adventure.
Is your solar water heater tank leaking, worn out, or no longer performing efficiently? Upgrade your unit without the cost of a completely new system. Tropical Solar now offers tank upgrades and replacements for existing solar water heating units, including systems from other brands. Keep your existing heating panel and replace the tank with a reliable Tropical Solar tank designed for lasting performance and efficiency. Need a panel replacement too? Tropical Solar can help with that as well. Call Tropical Solar today for more information. In Castries, 453-1868. In Groselet, 450-8201. And in Vieux-Fort, 454-6344. Tropical Solar, giving new life to your existing solar water heating system.
Guys, we're back on Fire 107.7 FM, and this is Hard Talk. Don't forget to stay tuned because today is Monday, and to borrow a phrase, on Mondays, it's full disclosure. So, back to our topic cleanliness in the city. And we have somebody on the WhatsApp platform who is chiming in. This person is saying, let me see that message. Person says, Angie, what you are saying makes a lot of sense, but you cannot get those people when you have a government that is dishonest, just like the visa problem that St. Lucia finds itself facing from all around the world. Not a word from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I must say that it's the CIP, because all the people that are buying the St. Lucian passports are not buying them to come to St. Lucia, so the answer is no. Well, there you go. There you go. Somebody says, this one kills me. I have to read that one again. Alpha is practicing new Neil Diamond songs to add to his karaoke repertoire. Caller, the person who said that, do you sing karaoke with the minister? I'm asking. Another says, I hope you will remember the words to sing. Somebody says, soon St. Lucians may not be able to go anywhere, including Nigeria. Therefore, the new business venture is fufu, okra, and fried fish. How you also? Somebody says, you don't need to say the right words in karaoke. All you need to do is hold the mic in your hand. Somebody says, Mr. Joseph will be well received. Please try to have him. I don't know if I can have him. I might have to speak to his manager. Anyway, leave that alone. Somebody says, I hope I hope his hands are strong enough. Another one says, next Thursday on Can You Eat My Vomit, it will be the turn of the minister to feature Hardtalk. I'd love the exposure. He gets a lot of viewership. Even people that don't want to hear him listen. I don't know why. I don't listen to these kinds of things. But guys, honestly, driving around St. Lucia, you wonder where you are. Now I have to ask the somebody says, but Angie, yesterday the MP for Castries Central had a team from Environmental Health and his party team cleaning the city. He also promised them a beach party the next cleanup campaign. Well, yesterday was Sunday. And on Sunday, I was at home cleaning my house because vous savez, laissez mon akaba me puis premier ba yo kade why nettoyer caillou so moi m'ka nettoyer ça moi avant. Anyway, a team from my environmental health and his party team. But that's not the minister's job to get a team of people to clean the city. The city has a mayor. Isn't it the mayor's job to see to the upkeep of the city? I'm confused. I am confounded, kerfuffled, and quite confused. But I digress. Guys, have you noticed something lately? School has closed. It's the summer. Where is the step that the people voted for? Because normally, this is the time when the STEP program is rolled out all over the country to boost the economy and to give a little incentive to the people. And I know several individuals in my constituency and others who said to me that they voted for STEP. They're going to vote for STEP to feed their children so they can send their children to school. So, where is the STEP? School is closing. Where is the STEP? The people voted for the STEP. Because I don't understand how it is that we are, for the first time, facing an infestation of the Fedilas. The Fedilas is one of the most deadly snakes in the world, and it is a native of St. Lucia. Fedilas literally translates as the iron lance. And those of you who did not read Snow White and did not read Cinderella and did not read all the other fairy tales, lances were those long iron spikes used by French, well, just knights in general. They would have the lance. The knights would get on their horse in their armor, and they would ride on horses towards each other and try to knock each other off the horses with the lances. Fedilance, iron lance, meaning danger. This is a dangerous snake. And we've had sightings in Moshi. We've had sightings in Castries. We've had sightings in Tomazo. We've had sightings in Bois d'Orange. We've had sightings all around St. Lucia. In areas, we had sightings in Arundel Hill. We had sightings in Grass Street. We've had sightings on Jeremy Street, snakes all around St. Lucia. Isn't this the opportune time? Isn't this the opportune time? Hear me well, people. Isn't this the opportune time for us to have a massive step campaign to cut the high grass? And I know I'm not asking for people to be by the road scratching like chickens, because I don't want anybody to be weeding with a cutlass by the road and they get bitten by a snake. But we have equipment. We have weed eaters. Isn't this the time for us to have persons with weed eaters cutting the grass by the road to ensure that we discourage the snakes from taking over the entire island? I mean, it's just a question. I think it's a pertinent question. Because, guys, we already have a high crime rate. We already have people getting murdered left, right, and center in St. Lucia. We already have people on people crime. I don't think we need snake on people crime again to compound our problems. And the snakes are animals which act on instinct. You scare them, you threaten them, they kill you. Base animal instinct. You're not going to be able to talk down the snake. You're not going to be able to run from the snake. The people said they were voting for STEP. We need STEP more than ever now. So, what is going on? Let's kill 2 snakes with 1 stone. Let's cut the grass and give the people a little shot in the arm for the upcoming school season, school year. And let us give the snakes nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. I mean, you would think that a government that is for the people, putting the people first. We have a call on the line. You would think that that is what a government would be doing. Good afternoon to you, caller. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I have a little time. Is it time to call or it's too late?
No, go ahead.
Angie, I'm watching what is transpiring in our international arena. And Angie, picture the country as yourself. And inside of you they have organs, they have you have your inside of you and they have the outside of you, right?
That's right.
The inside of you is your organs, your brain, the things you do not see.
Yep.
And the outside of you is what you can see. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you, Angie, whatever is happening on the internal affairs in the country will reflect on the external affairs
That's right.
of the country.
That's right.
So when foolish men, when men lean on their own misunderstanding and think it's reason, and think that elected as officials that give them the free will.
Could you repeat? Caller, hold on. You cut out there for a minute. So just repeat what you said.
I said when men lean on their own misunderstanding and call it reason,
right?
And because they think they've been elected by the people of St. Lucia, that their judgment is wisdom or their action is word. But it is not so because 248 square miles of literacy is not what the world is reflecting, you know.
That's
So
right.
when those guys do what they're doing in the internal affairs of our country, the decisions that they are making and saying that, okay, the CIP is good or, beg your pardon?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, so when they say all those different things, the outside world, the where the real things happen. Because you see, St. Lucia is small, developing island state. It's not the one that is called I'm calling us that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It is the politicians we have like Philip JP and them and saying, oh, we are a small country, we can do too much for ourselves, we can only borrow, we can only consume, we cannot create, we cannot build industry, we cannot build generational wealth for our people,
Hmm.
raise the standard of living, we cannot do that. You understand? That
Yeah.
is the psyche that they have pushed.
Right.
So Angie, what I'm trying to tell you is that the international arena is seeing that St. Lucians cannot change the situation in their country. So they're going to change the situation on their part.
That's right.
They have looked our country, our passport now have become a weak passport.
Yep.
You understand? And when you have a weak passport, you lose investors. Investors don't come.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling this for the guys in commerce. If we're going to stay silent as a people and watch our country destroy, and then people will go on Facebook and people will call on the radio shows and say, oh, how many people are traveling to Ireland?
So
Let me
foolish.
tell you something.
So
Let me
foolish.
tell you, you remember they said that? You remember they said that for America recently? Oh, how many people are going to travel to America? Instead of
Yep.
going to go to America anyway.
Yep. Yep.
You remember they said that for England as
Mm-hmm.
well?
Yep.
Oh, how many people go to England anyway? But each when Andre, that's four countries I already called.
Mm-hmm.
How many countries more we going to continue saying that bullshit? Pardon my French for.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
How many countries? 110, 115 countries that we want. And then solution just cannot travel anywhere. When
I
our
to-
passport becomes like a Somalian passport,
I
when
tell
our
you,
passport
caller.
becomes like a South Sudan passport, that's what they want.
I tell you, caller.
Andre,
Pretty soon, the St. Lucian passport will only take you to Maria Islet and Birdshit Rock. Birdshit Rock is that rock off the coast of Pigeon Island. And let me tell you, the one with the holes in it. And let me tell you something. It wouldn't be able to take us to Frigate Island because that's a wildlife reserve. Not
now,
even Maria Islet,
Andre,
sorry. It wouldn't take us to Maria Island. It will
now,
take us to Rat Islet and Birdshit Rock. That's the only places we'll be able to go.
now, Angie, it goes back to my starting point when I say we are a dependency country, a country that cannot see past the survival mode because it has been running for 40 years.
Yeah.
It has become a cult. It has become normal to live in poverty. It has become great to feel like you need to beg a politician for something. You understand? Angie, I'm a conservative, Angie. I believe in Donald. I believe in the Republicans. I believe in the Singaporeans.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know it's a conservative government that is running Singapore for 50 years now.
Oh,
The
I
People
didn't.
Action
I
Party.
didn't
Do
even know that.
research.
I didn't even
That
know
is our
that.
friend. Beg your pardon?
I didn't know that.
You have the internet right there in front of you, Angie, or you have your telephone. Just go on Google and ask which the government in Singapore. It is a conservative government.
Yeah.
England, the last before the Labour Party, we have they're doing a terrible job in England.
Mm-hmm.
Even the British Army is saying that they will not go and fight for that Labour government.
Wow.
We had the Conservative government that ran England for over 15 years. So they had a little infighting, just like what we have in there.
Mm-hmm.
But they pick up. You
Right.
understand, Andy? What
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to tell you, watch a Conservative government is in Trump,
Yeah.
and it is marvelous thing is happening because the war in Iran is over. It's officially over.
Oh, it is.
They're going to have sanction release on Iran. Oil is going to start flowing.
Okay.
Commerce and business is going to pick up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It is a conservative mindset that is a man go out there and work for what is his.
Right.
A man go out there and build generational wealth for his family.
Right.
A woman go out there and build generational wealth for her family. You understand? A nation now rise up to become a great nation, Angie. Because when the people are motivated and can think for themselves and create and think innovation and just the government is just laying the platform, Angie. We
Yeah.
are ready. The young people of St. Lucia are ready to take this to another level, but those guys are not ready. They
Yeah.
do not see past their horoscope. That's what I'm telling you. It is a burning desire in our heart to push our country forward, and those guys are hell bent on keeping the country backwards, and not just backwards in terms of tricking the people, but backwards in debt, backwards in losing our friendship. Because watch, there are many countries that have denied us already.
Yeah.
And still to this day, those countries have not given us free access back to their country.
That's true.
And why? Because we have
Because
never
the
given
problem
those
still
countries a reason to
persists.
approach their internet.
The problem that caused us to lose that access still persists. And we need it to be fixed, but it's not getting fixed. So what do you
You know
expect?
why I'm talking, Sanji? Let us move UWP aside. Where are the bus drivers? I'm not saying all right. Okay, moi c'est liba, moi pas aller là, moi c'est flambeau, moi pas aller bon chimia pour dire yeah. The man just put 675 cents, only $16. Nobody not saying nothing. The man, they're blocking us left, right, and center. People know that the business community. Let us talk about the intellectual part of the people. Let us leave the masses alone. The intellectual capacity, the people that are supposed to sway the population under them. Because it's not the government, it's not the 17 members alone that is doing it. That can sway a population to vote for that or to vote for this. They
Yeah.
are the civil servants. They are the non-profit organizations. They are all types they're the netball, they're the football associations. They have all different types of associations. The sporting association, the nursing association. Nobody's coming out and speak. Like everybody is just drunk and
But
drunk in
caller, you should
nationalism.
not be surprised. And let me tell you why you shouldn't be surprised. Look at Thursday night. Caller, we have a government minister who has made it his duty to attack, denigrate, disrespect, defile, and all the other adjectives that I can think of anyone who dares stand up to this government. And everybody is afraid because let me tell you something. When I chose to stand up to that minister, did you see what happened to me? Okay. Did
Now,
you see
Angie,
the fallout? I want to ask you a question.
certain,
Did you see the
yeah.
fallout that
Yes.
transpired? Right. So people are learning the lessons. Bab kama wadyo pwidi face o yo ka uze sa o yo. Nobody's gonna speak. Nobody's gonna come out because if I try to speak for one minister, another one will do worse. It is a psychological conditioning that is happening. And people are, let me tell you, self preservation is a powerful thing. So people are afraid, and I'm so happy. Just Thursday night, Alison made one of the previous callers made a comment on Facebook, her personal Facebook page. I highly doubt that she went on the minister's page and posted her comment. She made her comment on her personal page. The minister was attacking her, a comment made on her personal page, making reference to her mental stability, her mental health. And I'm so proud that she came on the show. She called the show earlier and she said nobody should be afraid of these ministers or be afraid to speak out because when we speak out, we are speaking out over our tax money. I am so
Angie,
happy she said that, but not everybody thinks that way, caller.
in closing, what I wanted to say, Angie,
Mm-hmm.
there is nothing to be afraid when your back is against the wall, Angie.
That's
That's why I
true.
just want to leave that message. I
Mm-hmm.
want to just leave with those people is that There's nothing to be afraid of when your back is against the wall. Because words are very cheap. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that minister say on his show and what he's talking about, the fact remains that every day a young man or woman is dying in the streets
Yep.
brutally.
Yep.
Every day there's a business accident that taking many lives. Every day is 3 or 4 children. Newborn babies are dying in the hospital in Owen, Kenya, the European hospital there. Every day there's a tragedy. There's the only thing that is happening good for this country is Julian Hunt.
You mean
From
Julian Alfred?
Julian Alfred, sorry.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that is happening in the country that we can look to and say, hey, there is somebody that is doing some marvelous things for our country.
Yep.
Like you cannot argue, this is the situation we're in. So right now, people are supposed to start talking and start calling and not just start talking and calling. We're doing that already. Let us make it happen on a serious level.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm going to end it, Angie. Thank you.
Thank you for that, caller. Thank you for that. Guys, I want to just make a public announcement here. So the Water and Sewage Company, WASCO, wishes to inform the general and motoring public of mainline repairs scheduled to take place at Pave Road, Castries on Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 from 10 a.m. That is tomorrow, Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 from 10 a.m. in the morning. To facilitate these works, the water supply to Pave, Maynard Hill, and a section of Rockall has been temporarily interrupted. WASCO has requested the assistance of the police department to execute a closure of Pave Road to facilitate repairs. The motoring public is encouraged to adhere to road traffic control measures throughout the course of these repairs and to take alternate routes where possible. WASCO apologizes for the inconvenience this will cause. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Once again, the Water and Sewage Company, WASCO, is going to conduct repairs on the Pave Road on Tuesday, June 16th, that is tomorrow, at 10 a.m., and the road will be closed during the course of those repairs. So if you traverse this road on a regular basis, find an alternate route to get to where you're going tomorrow. Back to the Facebook platform, somebody says, hence the reason we have a voice note from a caller. Am I seeing this correctly? Yes, we do have a voice note from a regular contributor. Let me just play this for you guys.
Good afternoon, Miss Sanji. Hope you're doing well. I just thought I could drop a line on saying that really doesn't. If I were to be doing that as my job, or I were to be one of those who voted for STEP previously, well, now that these federal laws are on the loose, I would quit. So, as far as that goes, I think the best thing they could do is get that. They had what you call premise heat. Just the scent, or the not scent, just the smell. It had a strong odor. That alone would at least chase away the snakes. So they should probably try to get some of that and spread it around. And the smaller chase away the snakes, and then they could at least take care of the bush or whatever on the side of the road. I think that would be the best approach. Or if they could get another means pesticide or whatever that could do the same thing, but is less harmful to the soil or the environment to do that thing. I think that would be the best. Hey, Angie, listening to this caller, something came to mind and maybe you could help me with it. Our economy is doing bad under this administration. To make it worse, they have weakened the strength of our passport. Can we be deprived of using the Caribbean currency as a result? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the currency that the country is using is also based on its economy. So, is that something that we should pretty much start paying serious attention to as well? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong or enlighten me a bit, but I think that's something that just came to mind, and I think if you have any information on that to help put my mind at ease, I'd gladly welcome it. Thank you.
Well, questions, guys. Huh. I don't know who you guys think I am. Mumban say, of course, I will try to answer your question as uh, truthfully as possible. I am not sure if we can be removed or barred from using the Eastern Caribbean currency because again the Eastern Caribbean currency is the currency for the entire OECS, and it is a very strong currency. I don't know if you guys have known this, but in currency markets, I trade a little bit. The Eastern Caribbean currency is actually one of the strongest currencies out there. It has been pegged to the US dollar at the same rate for close to 50 years now. So it is currently one of the strongest currencies out there. It has never been devalued despite all of what the region has gone through, the hurricanes and all of that, because our economy, St. Lucia, I mean specifically, when all of the countries, their economies have been devastated, Grenada by hurricanes, um, Dominica by hurricanes, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat with a volcano, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines volcano. St. Lucia's economy remained strong because of our banana production. I have to be honest, guys, I hadn't thought about it before, but I don't think we are at that same place again. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. I not often do I think I call twice, but just to give a little enlightenment as to the OEC, the EC currency of Saint Lucia wanting to opt out. I think there are certain conditions that must be met. One of the
No,
remember we
I
signed
don't
it.
think he's saying we are whether or not we can opt out. That's not the question. The question was, will we be stopped because of all of these restrictions that are coming from the international community, those visa restrictions, and so on and so forth through the CIP? Are we at risk of losing our use of the EC currency? That was the question.
Oh no, I don't think so because remember we're part of an
The
OECS
OECS. Yeah, that's
union,
exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
and we signed on a treaty. And not only that too, there's a lot more that has to happen. God forbid that happens. So I don't see that happening. What I can see is if this government has been hinting in becoming a republic, that was
Yeah,
one of the
they keep saying
discussions.
that. They keep saying that.
And so if we become a republic, then there can be some kind of shift. Because if you realize, Angie, Trinidad and Tobago is a republic. They have their own currency.
Yeah, so is Barbados.
Barbados has become a republic. They have their own currency. And I can't remember the most recent one who became a republic. So if this government is moving towards becoming Saint Lucia becoming a republic, because you're hearing instances of they saying that look, they need to get rid of this crown, which is the governor general and what have you. So if that happens, then we might see a shift insofar as the OCS Union. So I want to just put the contributors' fears
At ease.
at ease that not because we see movements insofar as visa restrictions and what we see in that most of the developing countries are slowly closing their doors in St. Lucia. That means that should affect our currency. You know, our OCS currency, EC currency is very strong, as
Yeah.
you indicated. And I think I'm not an economist, but based on the world trends, what we see happening globally, the world economies, I would not advise St. Lucia right now to have its own currency because
Oh,
we
nobody's
definitely
thinking of that. Trust me, nobody's thinking of that. Everybody in St. Lucia is watching their own bread. So,
exactly, and
yeah.
not only that, it will be foolhardy of any government right now to go that route in terms of because we do not have any serious trade. Who are we trading with? Most of those countries like in the Caribbean, in the region, who have their own currencies, they have something. They trading partners. Like for example, Trinidad and Tobago, you know, their main export is oil. They
Mm-hmm.
have that natural resource, so they can afford to go down that route. But you hear it in Trinidad and Tobago, for example, there is a shortage of what they call foreign exchange. That's a serious problem. People have been complaining that when they go to the banks, that there are stipulations insofar as foreign exchange.
Mm-hmm.
The business private sector down there are complaining when they need foreign exchange, they cannot get it, and it's affecting their business. So the Caribbean right now, the region right now is in a very peculiar situation.
Yeah.
And we have to tread cautiously as a small island developing state, although we say so. But if we cannot take care of same basic things like cleaning the city, if we cannot take care of basic things like providing medication at the hospitals and so forth, then I don't think that statement of St. Lucia is a developing state. I don't think that is a reality. So I just wanted to put my little 2 cents
Thank
out
you for
there
that.
with regards to that.
Thank you for that, caller.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Then we have it some clarity there. Uh, so, caller, please put your mind at ease. The EC currency will not, that's not going to, we're not going to get affected in that regard, but we're not going to be able to travel either. Somebody says, when you, somebody's, okay, leave that one alone. Somebody says, maybe the MP is also the mayor, who knows? Somebody's telling me, don't remind the people what they have to do. Another says, isn't that beach party going to contribute towards more littering? Another says, Angie, you are talking too fast. School has not closed. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
When it's nice, we do it twice, Angie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, yes, and it is nice actually. So, I want to agree with what the other caller has just said.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to make an observation.
Mm-hmm.
Over 5 years ago, in 2019, 2018, 2017, St. Lucia was referred to as a developing state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we had kind of left that third world thing behind
Mm-hmm.
and were being called a developing state. However, over the last 5 years, I think we've purposely been taken backwards in development. So there has been no development,
Mm-hmm.
no continuation of the development that was taking us out of third world.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, in third world countries, you wouldn't find kids with uh, um,
Laptops and
e-books
stuff,
going
ebooks,
to
yeah.
school,
Mm-hmm.
right? E-books taking to school and stuff, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we were there. We were moving. We had moved into that era of children having e-books already.
Mm-hmm.
We had our roads we had cameras all over.
Mm-hmm.
Our roads infrastructure was getting to be the nicest in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Our hospitals were also working properly, efficiently. We have to speak the truth. I mean, we need to stop running away from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
In 5 years, July 2026 will be 5 years since that administration, SLP administration, has been governing this country. And what have they done to St. Lucia? They have
Set us
torn
back.
us and ripped us apart. Yes. They have torn us and ripped us apart. I mean, in the metropolis you will find um the the sporting facilities with the, is it AstroTurf they call it?
Yes, AstroTooth.
That's right, with the AstroTurf. We were going that way. We
Mm-hmm.
were heading that way. Even we had small sporting facilities, but they were beautiful.
Yeah.
They were looking like international sporting facilities. They were giving, people were able to go and use them for different sports, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, not one of them are being developed. As a matter of fact, I think they're being destroyed because they're holding certain activities on the AstroTurf, which be holding.
Yeah.
So they've literally brought us backwards.
Yeah.
The roads were being repaired. The roads were being repaired. Look at the water lines. The new water lines were being placed
Right.
in the north by
Fresh start. Fresh start.
Fresh Start. We were going to have 4-lane or 3-lane or overpass, walkover story, and all of that. Proper roundabouts, large enough to accommodate trucks and everything. And they stopped all of that. Our housing as well was going into much better, was going to modern housing, yet affordable, but modern housing and housing to suit every, and I say class of person, I don't want to classify people, but every walk of life could have afforded something having to do with housing, because that's the way. There are people with $100,000, there are people with $1 million, there are people with $500,000. Do you understand? Who
Mm-hmm.
could afford?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were looking at our airport was being redeveloped to become a much bigger airport, where we'd have home porting. The cruise ship port in Viewfort was going to be redeveloped. The agreement was already signed. We had an international, whether they want to admit it or not, we have international riding stables in Viewfort that has been shut down.
Yeah.
So now we had a big hospital being built in way of St. Jude's, as in one building, where all the facilities, health facilities, are offered under one roof. We saw them go back to 25 little cages and trying to make that, it's like an army field hospital.
Yeah.
So you have to move from one house, one little building, into another one. If you're giving birth and you're in the ward, they have to wheel you out of the ward, wheel you out in the open and into surgery or into the labor room or whatever.
Yeah.
That is going back in development.
Yep.
Rather than continue the Jonora International Airport, they dug and they cut the how you call it, the piling that was set already, millions of dollars worth of piling. The SLP administration came in and destroyed the piling. St. Lucians don't understand that. We are at a place where we had the 7 crop being developed in St. Lucia. Do you remember the 7 crop program under Alan Shaste?
I remember.
Where is the 7 crop program? That was for food security. Where is it? Now you're telling me labor, upatan. The people who supported Philip JP's administration and put them there in our parliament. Aren't you hearing this? Aren't you hearing that what happened there? You have put St. Lucia back over 20 years in development. You've pushed us backwards rather than bring us forward. And how we back to a third world country. And when you create, and that's why I say when you create poverty, when you create poverty, certain governments have control of the masses.
That's right. Caller, as interesting as your point is, it is 5 o'clock, and Mr. Chico is standing outside looking. He's looking at
Mr.
me.
Chico is always me. It's always me who's doing the naughty.
You need to stop. You need to stop that. We will put you in the sorry corner, caller. We will put you in the sorry corner.
Oh my God, I'll be sorry for ages. So I just want people to realize that what was done in St. Lucia has been harmful.
Yeah.
Has been really bad for St. Lucia and St. Lucians. Thanks, Angie. Goodbye.
Yes, thank you so much. Guys, wow, the time flies when you're having fun, I can tell you that. Let me just run through some comments very quickly because Mr. Chico is already here and it's time for full disclosure. Somebody says, not maybe. All the mayor is allowed to do is take the black SUV and go to Massey to buy toilet paper. That's all. Somebody says, the first sighting in St. Lucia was at Leclerc, the blue snake. Another says they thought they were voting for step. They voted for high grass for snakes to hide. Somebody says it seems that snakes are evolving from trees to concrete. Another says it seems, well guys, the minister is the one who calls the shots, not Madam Mayor. Another is saying, what if the people who bought passports specifically for the visa-free access privilege start asking for their money back? I don't know. Somebody says, but didn't I hear that the representative for Viewfort North, Musa, talk about snake campsites? Campsites? Campsites to be an initiative for his constituency during a time when we have the snake infestation all over the island. Every ministry seems to be so overwhelmed: health, utilities, agriculture, law, security and justice, telecommunications, home and foreign affairs, investments, economic, tooth bagay pagal. Somebody says, I didn't hear him, but I'm not surprised. Another says, I have been asking the same question since the main reason for purchasing the passport was to gain access, which is now not accessible anymore. Kaka Glow must be taking EH because some of these persons don't play about deals made. Either their money's back or somebody's gonna pay or disappear. Another says, caller, they are all brainwashed. Another says, you are correct. That's been a long time, the EC currency. Somebody else is saying, Angie, do we as a people take in these visa restrictions seriously? It has nothing to do with politics but country. We are losing all our opportunities with the international community in partnership with trade, education, health, and even investment. Our economy is already on a downward spiral. See what the mood is red done to us? Guys, thank you so much for being here. But I got to go because coming up next, it is full disclosure. And we are going to discuss the things that give, according to one listener of the show, the Prime Minister a bellyache. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. Stay tuned because Mr. Chico is here. And up next will be full disclosure. This is Angie signing out, saying sayonara to you on Hardtalk, but don't go anywhere because full disclosure will be on next. Bye-bye.
You already know the power of Lex products on your clothes.